Oh,
Deze is hartstikke awesome Jeff.
welcome everybody to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. What's up, guys? Insiders, how is everyone doing? We are excited to have you guys back in our lives and us to be back in yours. Let's have a happy Wednesday. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you and talk to you over the weekend. It was cool. He was like, he's a parent, a martial arts parent that listens to our show every week. And
Word.
it's cool to see him at a local event in North Carolina this weekend. So awesome. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you, buddy. All right. So if you don't know, we are sponsored by the Virtual Fight Tour, and they will be having their last man standing this weekend at the Ocean State Grand Nationals, one of our other sponsors. And it's going to be a big event. It's going to be a big weekend. All right. Just of craziness. I'm a little worried about going to the airport because there's going to be so much traveling going on right now. You got the ending of the NCAA tournament. You got WrestleMania, which is going to have even more, and that's in California. And then you got the Miami fight. So you got Karate Combat happening, and then you got Ocean State, and I'm sure there's more. So it's going to be packed, man.
Yeah, it being spring break.
That too. Yeah.
Do you guys, this is spring break? I don't know what it's like spring break
Ours
is like
is
in Virginia.
Ours is in another week or two.
Oh, so
yeah, ours happens right after Easter. So
what's like the culture out there for spring break?
What do you mean out here? You mean like for people to go to like places
No,
and stuff?
no. Like, what do you guys do? Like, all right, here's an example. As a kid, during spring break, we never went anywhere. We never did
either.
We never. Like, I started hearing like, what do you mean you guys went to?
Yeah, exactly. I never did that either. No, that wasn't what we did. And people, it was funny to me when people were like, oh, well, we have to go somewhere for spring break. We have to. I'm like, what? Why? Like,
or you could
the only thing I would be doing would be going to a tournament. So, but
yeah,
I mean, that's about it. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It's definitely interesting. There was a tournament growing up right on spring break time. Or actually, no, it wasn't spring break time. It was March break for people in Canada. And everyone in Canada would go down to Myrtle Beach. And that's just their big area. And there used to be a tournament, beach battle down there that ended up being it was a big regional for a long time in the NBL, but it became a national tournament for a couple of years. And it was always around that time of the year. And so it was wild and crazy because there was all kinds of people down there. But some of the people from Canada came down, did the tournament, and then stayed the rest of the week for March break. So that's what they call it.
March break. I mean, I got to tell you, man, I love spring tournaments. I think they're fantastic. I love kicking it off in the beginning of the year. I think the way AKA has it in Chicago, I think it's done the right way. I think doing the award ceremony from the year prior, the first tournament of the year, that's the way to do it. So that's good. Everybody's excited about that. And I think it's just kind of the buildup to where now we're in spring.
Yeah.
Kapow! Spring is my favorite time of year.
Yeah. There's so many tournaments back to back to back. Yeah.
So
it's really cool. When I was putting on my tournament, this was the best time of the year to put it on, even though we were so jam-packed with tournament after tournament, because it would be pretty much like Ocean States, then me, then Quebec. And you'd have two NASCAs and one big NBL in the middle. And then there was also another one at the beginning of the month too, NBL tournament. So it was just action-packed, but it was exciting. Everyone wanted to compete everywhere, So
Andrew's saying where it used to be the awards banquet used to be in June, which was really odd.
Yeah, in Bluegrass.
Well, it was a great tournament at the Bluegrass Nationals, but also strange. I mean, like,
because they were the only ones that would do it. They're the only ones that would put in the work to do it. So, you
Yeah.
know, when AKAs took over bluegrass, that's kind of how they got that. It's just kind of adopted. It was just kind of the way it was. So, all right. So we are talking about all kinds of different stuff. How was your weekend? And then I'll explain what I did over the weekend. And it kind of leads into some topics.
The weekend was something I want to, forget about the weekend. I'm going to tell you about what happened today. So this
Oh,
is
all right. Here we go.
funny. So it's spring break time over here. Okay. Which means where are my kids going to go? So we don't have a babysitter on Wednesdays here. It's so weird. It's so weird, man. So it's
Yeah.
like you got to juggle it. Who's got the kids today? And we're lucky I don't work like a 9 to 5 in the city. So anyway, so I plan this out. I decide, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna take all 3 kids. I'm going to a children's museum, right?
Oh,
This one's like really nice. Okay, it's in Naperville. It's a nice suburb, but anyway, it's about 45 to 50 minutes away from me. So they open at 9. So I'm like, I'm just gonna get there right away. So I'm in the parking lot at 9:30, and there's nowhere to park.
jeez.
So it's it's something. So now I'm like 50 minutes away. What am I gonna do? Go, nah, guys, we're not going here. Let's drive another hour back. Like we're stuck. We gotta figure something out. And then we're in there, and it is packed beyond belief. Everybody had the same plan. That's what we did. But the kids had a great time. It was cool.
That's cool. That's cool. Awesome. I was in North Carolina at the Southern Showdown for a tournament. I did that Saturday. Drove down there 3 hours and then drove back that night 3 hours. So long tournament, big day, but was a fun time. Competing, had 12 students there competing. I competed against some of my students. I competed against my instructor. Just a big Southern tournament. I think a little over 325 competitors. So was a good time. Great way to, again, get ready for the big tournaments, right? And myself was there. I won the traditional grand. Jack Sykes from Revolution and Corky Sykes' son. Jack Sykes won the open grands.
So with the tournament, I don't understand this. Maybe with a tournament where it's not like 700-800 to 1,000, why is split so many grands? Why not just be like form grand?
Well, it is. It's traditional grand. There's forms grand. And there's open grand. That's it. It's two grands. There wasn't many. It's 2. You have a traditional grand and open grand, forms and weapons combined. So there's 2 grands. Yeah. So 2 grands. So that way you can actually focus on, it's just the way NBL used to do it. The way you can focus on traditional versus traditional and open versus open. So that's just 2 grands. So 2 is not many, Alex. I don't know where you get this. Oh, so many. There was only 5 grand championships. Actually, 5 adult grand champions at the tournament. Okay. So we have the executive fighting, which was Terry Floyd, the 18+ fighting, which was Justice Floyd, and the women's fighting, which was Natalie Allen. Okay. And then junior grands was, I think, Harold Lerner won the open, and traditional was Laney Pinna. So there's your 7. Okay. I mean, out of a tournament 300, where there's a lot of divisions of this tournament, though. Okay, there's way too many divisions. Over 400.
The grands weren't the issue. The divisions, maybe.
Yeah. The grands.
Tell me about it.
No, I don't want to talk about too much, but yeah. So but overall, it was a good tournament. They did a great job keeping it flowing. With just, I think one of the things was that their league added about 40 new divisions a month before the tournament. So they didn't really know how to plan for that part. So there's a lot of open rank fighting. So, but they were stacked. There was like 15 to 20 in each division of this open rank fighting. So yeah. Well, here's the deal. If you have Terry Floyd's High School come with 65 competitors and they do everything, mean, hey.
How does the open rank fighting go? Does it go as expected?
What do you mean? Oh, like the
Like the Brown
highest.
Bucks are just going to win everything?
I don't know. I didn't really watch it though. I watched the open weight for the juniors is what I was watching because most of my kids were doing that. That's what my kids were in. So I didn't really see too much of the open rank. So I'm not really sure. But I know that more students and more competitors just want to get in more rounds of fighting, right? They don't really have continuous fighting anymore at the tournaments down here. So
Why
open
do you
rank
think that is?
I guess just people haven't shown the interest to do it, Also, too, I think some people it's the control. They don't really know how to judge it. There's that. But at the same time,
Was it getting out of control at one point?
Yeah, I think so. Especially the junior divisions. I mean, listen, dude, you have Sage Northcutt knocking people out in the junior divisions. It's kind of like, all right. I mean, what are you going to do, right?
He is kind of just like a little ball of intensity.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I just feel like sometimes you just got to look at a situation and go, you know what? We have a unique situation here. Like, I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of Sage Northcutts come through very often.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but honestly, at the time, there were a couple that were just as ripped and as crazy as him all at the same time. So it was just kind of interesting how that worked in the NBL. But as far as that, overall, good tournament. Also, Joseph Brackett won the open weight. He defeated Justice Floyd in the final of that. So that was a big win for him. Great fights all around over the weekend in the junior divisions, all over the place. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing traditional weapons, actual traditional weapons. So that's always fun. We had a good division, about 7 or 8, 18 plus. I moved down to 18 plus and won that. And that was a lot of fun.
What weapon did you do?
I did the bow this weekend. Yeah. For traditional weapons. So.
Okay. A traditional, like when you said like real traditional.
Yeah. I did Tsunaki no Kansho, like a traditional form.
I think Wayne Douglas might have taught me that form.
Oh, really?
Which is really odd to say, like, because at the time he would have been like 10, And I think I was like 21, right? And he's like showing me this, this traditional bow form. I'm like,
you can't be telling me.
I got a 10-year-old teaching me. But let's knock it out.
You can't be telling people that.
I didn't know anything about traditional bow at that time, and everybody knew it.
Then get someone else than a 10-year-old. I mean, I love Wayne, but I mean, come on, man.
But it was Wayne.
Still. Okay, it's fine. You're still 21. All right. Have some respect for yourself. Jeez.
Dude, I call it how it is. I mean,
get Wayne's instructor to teach you. Jeez.
Wayne, who was Wayne's instructor?
Casey Marks.
Casey, right. And she went in. All I had to do was go to St. Paul. Actually, he came to me and we were doing some fight training, but that's another story. Continue.
It's all right. It's all good. But yeah, so yeah, I did that. That was a lot of fun. I won all 4 of my divisions on that. And then, here's a fun thing I did do. All right. So they had this rule so that if you're the only one in your division, you still have to perform. I guess, which, okay, that's fine. But for musical form, I was just like, man, I don't really want to go out and do this. And when, I'm going to focus on my grands. I'm going to focus on this, that. So I said, you know what? Here we do. Here's what we're going to do. I go to one of the teenagers around there, which George Stallnicker, who's from FSK. He competes on the national circuit. I told him, just pick a song. Give me a song, and I'll do it. So
take your iPhone.
None of them really believed me that I was serious about it. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Just give me a song. I don't want to walk in. I'm just going to walk in, say whatever, play something. So I walk in thinking they're ready, and I introduce myself. I come back. I'm just waiting for like 45 seconds for them to start the song. I'm like, hey, running out of time, guys. Come on. So they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, just play something. So they give me like a weekend song, like the creeping song or whatever, like a slow motion, slow, like, yeah, down low type song, right?
What?
And I do a form to it, man. So, and I'm hitting to the beats a little bit here and there. It was fun. It was funny. So
See,
that's the kind of stuff that I do to entertain myself and others at tournaments. So
but I feel like we had this, man. Like there was an era where we had this, I'm glad that we're out of this era where we used to have to, when there was a tie, you had to run it back. I miss that time, but that's not the fairest. The fairest is to be like, no, your form's done. You did your performance. You don't get to add on to that because these people didn't get to add on to their performance. Performance is done. Okay, yeah, but we got to be performers, right?
right.
We got to do that. So I mean, there was so many guys in that time that could just riff it.
Yeah, that's what I do, man. Well, and see what I explained to all of them was like back in the day at Super Grands, there was one division called Musical Challenge. And literally the division was you bow in, you go in the center of the ring, the DJ plays a song, you make up to a form to it on the spot. And it was an awesome division. It was one of the biggest divisions of the event. So it was always fun. But yeah, so that's what I did there. I want to get into, well, one of the things that we're talking about, let's just go ahead and this. All right. What division would you like to see blank do? All right. And for me, this weekend, and I've seen him compete in this division, and he does forms a lot. But a lot of you guys on the national circuit never see Justice Floyd do forms. And Justice Floyd in the local level does a lot of forms. He does a great musical form that is pretty much for the most part to the beat. He has clean kicks. He has clean creative style moves, and he gets I mean, again, if you have 60 competitors with you, you got the crowd behind you, right? But he does a great job on that. He also has a really good Korean form. So for me, this is the first time him and I have been able to compete. Either when I was there competing, he wasn't doing forms that day, or I was running the tournament, not competing. It was kind of one of those things, right? So
Okay.
was really cool to compete with him. I also got to compete with one of my students who is right up there too. And us three were very close. So I love to see Justice compete on the national level in Korean because I think he would be one of my tougher competitors to go against. So that's kind
So
of
he's that good.
yeah. So yeah, he's solid. He's got great kicks, great technique. So would love to see him do that more. So I thought that would be kind of a cool. Hey Joey, hey Drew, would be a kind of a cool topic. Like, what division would you like this person to do, right? Or also, who was good at a division that maybe most people didn't know, right?
So when I think about that, I remember, and you probably remember the guy. You remember Manny Brown?
Yes.
Manny Brown did soft style or Chinese style forms. He did that for a little while. And
okay, I don't remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a time, and I remember watching it and being like, this is not really happening, right? Because that's not Manny's style, right? Now he's he's like Spider-Man on Broadway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, he was one of the original Extreme guys, right?
Big time, right? So, and he was like, and I'm like, dude, are you really about to do this? And he's like, dude, it's wide open right now. Like I don't have to worry about this, mega guy, and there's nobody in the division. Let me give it a shot. And I'm like, okay, all right, sounds good. And he was actually really dope.
Yeah.
And Dennis Brown should be the center referee, right? So Dennis Brown was center ref, and I remember I'm like, I gotta hear what he said. He goes, listen, you are not a Chinese style competitor, but stay in this division. I want you to stay in here. This is really cool. You can be really good at this. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. What is it? Andrew saying it's not 2006 anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he's saying in the musical challenge, he actually did half of that doing a kung fu, a soft style form. So that's pretty cool. I wasn't there that year. He says it's not 2006 anymore.
Now look at Drew hit it. Drew hit right where I was gonna go with Justin Ortiz.
That was one of the people that I was thinking of because I've even mentioned before. He's one of my favorite traditional forms, or even just overall martial artists. So yeah.
Yeah. So someone like that, but that goes right in step with what you're talking about with Justice Floyd, right? So I mean, I think there's plenty of guys like that. I actually feel like there's more high-level forms competitors that would have a much easier time fighting than they think, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I've mentioned this. I've been saying it over and over. There's a few things that I just repeat, and I'm like, I'm going to say it until somebody figures it out. Listen, high-level forms competitors, you basically have to be perfect. You have to be perfect. You make one pretty major mess up, like that's it. The weekend's over, right? Like you're over, right? So if you are basically trying to be perfect and you go into fighting, which is a completely imperfect situation, and your discipline and your structure is to be that buttoned up, listen, man, you're going to have a much more enjoyable time. You're going to have a much more relaxed time, and you're going to have some success along the way. So,
right.
I mean, you know who I think actually might be pretty dope, but I have no reason to think that they are right now? What if Salif was a fighter?
Hey, I mean, a lot of people in the area is telling him, hey, you need to come and spar or something, and trying to get him to come to the spar night. I think he came one night around your area. And you must
not. When I was around, I didn't see him.
Yeah. But, I mean, he was a wrestler. So, I mean, he has
you can look at it and see, how clearly you are.
Yeah. I mean, so I think that would be cool. And, yeah, Kim Do was a great fighter. What's another maybe division that maybe someone you think could actually do what they don't, right? So, again, for me, I want Ben Jones to do Korean. Definitely want that, and he's got good kicks, and he comes from a Korean background. I think there's guys like that. Also, who is it? Like back in the day, of course, Raymond actually was a good forms competitor. He did a good job doing that. And that was just something that was fun, man.
Didn't Jack do like flying commas?
Yeah, Jack did flying commas. I love to see Jack compete maybe one more time, just do
Jack
flying
Felton with flying commas. That would be something.
Yeah, there's a video somewhere out of him doing it at New Orleans. And actually, Brian Plimple was actually, his goal was to be a big forms competitor before he became a fighter, actually. Yeah.
I think
he had long hair. And
I think a lot of the guys around that time probably had the same thing. No, right here. I was literally thinking this. Andrew's right here. Andrew's in my head right now. Right? Yes. Obeda Ben Wally does have a nice chuck form. That's the next thing. Obeda Ben Wally, he's got to do chucks. Right?
And this is true, Brett. At least one of the Plowden guys has to be good at Korean forms, right? Definitely.
I think Avery's pretty good. I was chatting with him once because when he was living in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was training with us for a while. This is a couple years back, right? And he was like, "Hey, do you got like a traditional white uniform that I can buy?" And I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing a form." And I'm like a Korean form?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, but maybe I'll just ask my mom to get it. It's all good." And I'm like, "Wait, what form are you gonna do?" And he goes, "Oh, I got a really good Quebec." And I'm like, "Homie, listen, I'm never gonna say, I'm one of the best, but Quebec, I'm gonna say that, right? So we need to do this together, and we never ended up doing it. So I would imagine he is, because he said he had a pretty good one. I never saw it.
Yeah. So Kristen's funny. She says she would pay good money to see Robbie do traditional forms. I've never seen him do traditional, but I've seen him do open.
I would rather see
a bunch. I've seen him do a bunch of that, and that would be awesome. Ross.
Wait a minute.
Comes from a real traditional background.
What if Robbie and Jack
Did a team for him.
Did a team for him.
There we go.
See, this is where stuff gets to be a lot
See?
more fun,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Like that Brady team form I keep telling everybody about, man. That's what we need.
And that was fun. And they
Yes.
loved it. They loved the experience of that. You get
Exactly.
to tell the story. This is going to be a where were you moment if that happens.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, it's a lot of fun. Yes, we even mentioned that. Yes. Robbie definitely needs to do that. I don't know what type of traditional form. Just do it. Just do it. I guess
I'm saying he's down like 4 flat tires.
Yeah. Oh man, this is fun stuff. All right, so next thing, let's get into one of the main things, and we'll kind of go into that. So, which kind of telling you, like, preparing for Ocean States this weekend is going to be huge. It's going to be a lot. Like, my fiance asked me, well, what are you excited about this weekend? Well, competing, one, but two, it's like seeing people I haven't seen in a long time. Because, like I was telling some people, I haven't been to this tournament since 2004. So for me, I haven't seen a lot of these people from that area in a very long time. So that's going to be cool for me. You know, I'll most likely get to see Coach. So that's always fun. You know,
Well, that's how you know you've been in martial arts tournaments for like ever. When you've done the tournament for like
I've been there at least 10
it's been
times.
almost 20 years since you've done the
Yeah. I've been there at least 10 times.
Competing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, Will, you'll have a good time. Yeah, I mean, I think of course the money, the open weight, the intrigue, who's coming, what are we going to see?
Want to hear all about that. Yeah.
We want to hear all about it. We can't, we can't wait for that. You know, I like the whole thing of Travis just asked, okay, who do you think is going to win? Let's not say the whole thing. Let's just what division, who's going to win men's middleweight, right? Who's going to win men's light heavy? Let's I don't know. Who do you think is going to win?
So let's do that because I can do that real quick. So I'm going to go down the line and I'll try and just do it quick. Okay. Super light. I'm going to go my guy, John Cortillo, right? I don't know if he's going to be there, but if he's there, I'm just calling him my guy because I love watching this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Lightweight, I'm going to say it's Tyson Ray until proven otherwise, even though it's probably the most talented and deep division probably in the world.
Yeah. That's going to be really good to see that one. So, yeah.
I mean, who the Spences are the Spences going to be there? Oh, look at Andrew saying
Blake's coming.
going to be there.
Yeah, Blake's coming. So
I mean, I don't know. Is Blake going to be a super light? Is he going to be a light? I don't know, man.
His brother usually does super light, and he does light, I believe. But
I'm still going with Tyson because Tyson's he's won the most, right? Enrique is going to be there. He won't be light, I don't think. I think he'll be light
the
welter.
Next one up. Yep.
So he'll be in light welter.
Yep. That's Tyreek's division.
No, Tyreek is in light.
Oh, okay. I thought he moved up.
Tyreek can be wherever Tyreek wants to be.
Well, true.
He could be there. But I'm just going to say he's probably being light since I last saw him fight in light. So I'll go with, all right, Enrique, he'll probably win light welter. Okay. I'll go with that. And then I'll go Bailey, you're winning welter. Okay. We've got that.
Sounds good.
Now, here's the weird thing. The 7'62" Justice Floyd somehow is a light middleweight. I don't get it. Yet that's where it's always been. So I'm going to go Justice. He's going to be there.
Yeah, Justice is a good one for that one.
Middleweight. You know what? He's been fighting good, and it's a JPM tournament. Come on now.
Alex. Yeah.
It's going to be Alex Macias. Okay? I think light heavyweight's going to be Christian Rivas, right? Okay. And then Avery Plowden.
Is that the division he does?
That's what he last did.
That's what he last did. Middle. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Avery Plowden's winning heavyweight.
Yeah.
Book it.
Pretty good. right there.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I don't know. You know me. Jack shows up. I'm going with Jack.
Well, then that changes everything. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think all those could. I would probably go the same way in a lot of it.
I think
It's for me. It's in super light. It's either John or Oscar Garcia. Those
Oscar
two have
looked good,
kind of been.
man.
Yeah, Oscar's always good. I like Blake Spence, and I think he has an ability to. I don't know where he's going to be at. Tyson is one of my favorite fighters to watch. One of the other people in the come up is Luis Nunez. So he
Yeah,
is.
I think he's fighting welter.
Is it welter? Okay.
I think he is.
Yeah.
That guy is good. I like his style. So if you guys don't really know a lot about Luis Nunez, it's probably because he's not a major highlight reel guy.
Right.
But the dude wins.
The dude wins.
The dude
And
wins.
He's always up in that top like 6 or if there's a big division of like 40 or 50 in open weight, he gets in there in that top 8, out of that. And he gives a hard time to heavyweight fighters. So,
dude, and like everything I watched him last year, he almost always was in the final fight of his division.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy, I mean, he's just really smart. He's just really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I like his style. So
I don't know if people overlook him, but if they do, they better look again,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like his style. And I think maybe he is unassuming because he's not really tall. He's not long. He's not a power hitter. And
Right.
he's quick, but he's not like a speed demon. Everybody's fast now. Everybody's fast.
Right.
Right. There's nobody. I think even the heavyweights are crazy fast. So you can't survive if you're not really fast. Sorry.
So for women's, we're pretty much all excited to see the rematch, right? Morgan versus Katarina.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be good. So let's see. We got some good ones. I think Morgan is probably going to be. I think she's in the third of the 4, right?
Last time she was, I thought she was in the 4th one, but I don't know.
That's what I want to know. Okay, so if she's in the 4th, okay, so if it goes, 1 is like the lowest. I don't know what their names are because I know that they don't make sense, right? So we're gonna go. And literally, you know what? All the women call it that too. Like, oh, I'm in the 2nd division. They say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. True,
so there's the 1, 2, the 3, and the 4. Okay, so she's
that one division is always packed. It's huge. There's so much talent.
1 and 4 are always packed.
Yamina, right now, she's the most dominant in that division, and she will probably win that. And the other people that I know have given her a run are not going. So
yeah.
And then the 2nd division,
I could see who's that other little one. I think it was like Avery Suter.
Yeah.
I could see her doing some stuff. You know what? I'm gonna go against the grain. Let's go for it. Avery Suter. Why not? You know what I mean? What's the second one? Second one. Okay, here we are.
Yeah. Second one.
I don't know what else to call it, man. So second one. I'm blanking as to who's in this one. But once I see the names and faces, then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure either. I can't think of it right now either. Maybe that is the one that's the one that Katana is in.
Well, then I'm a picker. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. If she's there.
Yeah.
I don't know because she hasn't been as active.
And then you have the third one, which I think is the one that Katarina's in. And then
here's what I was saying. If Katarina's in the 4th and Morgan's in the 4th, sorry, Katarina. I'm not picking against. Now I know you beat Morgan. I'm not picking against Morgan Plowden, right?
Yeah.
Right. I thought Morgan was in the 3rd, right?
I don't know. I don't remember how it was. It could be the other way, but
I think the weight
normally it would be, but
140 and up or 150 and up, where it like doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like that's a lot of up, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of up. So, so let's just say it's like what you said. Let's say Morgan's in 4, right? And Katarina's in 3.
3, yeah.
Well, I mean, she's also. I mean, there's also quite a few others. Where does
Yeah.
Peyton Fender lie?
Peyton is always in the third one. Yep, she's in the third one. So, and then you have Lexi. I think she is in the third one as well. So, or she actually may be in the second one. Yeah, she's in the second one, I
Well,
believe.
Katarina's gone. There's no way around it.
So, but anyways, it's going to
Let's
be
go
action
Katarina
packed.
3, Morgan 4. If Morgan's there, so there we go.
There we go. So, it's going to be a fun event. I'm excited about it, not just for fighting, for forums. It's going to be most of the top guys are going to be there. So it's going to be action packed. But preparing for Ocean States with going to regionals, which there's been a lot of regional tournaments in between this. There's been some national ones, but there's been a lot of tournaments in Tennessee, Arkansas, South Carolina, North Carolina, a lot of ones coming up. When you go to a regional tournament, when you have a big tournament coming up, what is your plan? What is your game plan? Are you just going into it thinking it like another tournament, or do you have a plan on, hey, I want to try this so that way I'm ready here, or I want to go whatever the biggest division is so that way I can get my gas tank going? What is the plan?
So that is a fantastic question. So, and I will touch on it from both the forums and the fighting perspective. So there have been times where, like, all right, Jason Grenier used to have like the best defensive sidekick in the world, right? It was like, how is this guy defensive sidekicking like Raymond Daniels 4 times in a match? Like, nobody can get this guy. How are you able to do it? Well, then people stopped blitzing the guy. And he was like, dude, I can't this is his words. He's like, yeah, I don't defensive sidekick the same anymore because nobody blitzes me. That's a big change, right?
Right.
I used to spin kick the crap out of people. And then people stopped tying up with me. So then people stopped pumping at me. I'm not spin kicking the same anymore. So I remember it was a couple of times in school. I'm like, I'm just going to spin kick this guy. Timing off. Like, I'm getting wrecked. So I'm like, all right. I'm landing at least one spin kick in this tournament. That's what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So that might be something I'm having, or it might be something different. It might be like, all right, my timing on my jam is just totally off. Right? I need to get this there, or I need to feel like I can develop this. Now you might be in a high level, region where it's like, no, you can't just depend on that.
No.
You might be out in your first round.
Exactly.
Listen, I remember doing the WKC, the Great Lakes Pro-Am, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just in my division, and it's a local tournament. It's a local tournament.
Yeah.
First fight in the division. It's me and Anthony Merricks, right?
There you go.
Even Dwan Brown, I'll never forget this. Dwan Brown's like, dude, we got a national competition, headliner for the first fight. Right. So that's where it's like, you can't take anything for granted. So you might want to like mix in little things. I need to establish the fact that I can chamber at my eyes, whatever it may be.
Right.
Now, for the forms perspective,
Definitely.
Every forms competitor has this. There's a move that they have not yet debuted.
Oh, yeah.
Where you may be like the tournament that you're talking about that you just did.
Yeah.
That's a perfect time to do that. Low pressure. You don't have to worry about, am I going to fall on my face? Because even if you do, you still win. So now you're likely not going to fall on your face because the pressure is not so high. So you debut stuff like that. You're like, all right, here we go. Or you do different things like when you're the performer and you get to do it to whatever,
Right.
You know what I would have told them to do, by the way, if I were you? I would have said, put on Brass Monkey, but that was just me.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of
guys doing Intergalactic. Tell them to play Brass Monkey, but
that would have been fun. Yeah. So for me, it's definitely trying new forms. I have forms that I've been working on, trying to get them better and better. So for me, I was doing my new form and feeling like keeping it as confident as I was with my past forms, right? And where I could just kind of come in and just do it whenever, it's not a big deal, and just feel like, all right, I'm going to win with this. And this new form is getting that way. So now it's like, okay, it's feeling that way at regionals, now it's ready to go at nationals, you know? So that was one of the things. The other one was challenge myself with traditional weapons and really going after it and winning. And I did that. So again, some of the people, it's kind of funny because so you would think, let's say a person that is trying to get in that next level in NASCA informs, right? When they go to these locals, this is like their shot to win, and they always win the grand. They're not going to try their hardest move because this is like guaranteed money for them. You know what I mean? There is ones like that, you know, but
Yeah.
maybe they'll throw it in there if they feel like it, you know? So I've seen kind of both. I've seen some people actually water their stuff down at locals because it's like, this isn't the point to try this new move. This isn't the time to do it, you know?
Word.
But, you know, it all depends on how you feel under the pressure, right? For me, I always wanted the big moves and whatever I would do to be in the highest pressure, not really, I wouldn't really do it at a lower one, you know? So,
You know,
me, but not everyone's the same.
I mentioned him earlier. I'm going to mention him again. So I remember talking to Rick Douglas,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at a local tournament one time when Wayne was competing. And he says, I'm pulling Wayne out of competing in local tournaments. And I'm like, what? How are you going to do that? Because, dude, for me, I love local tournaments. It's just cool, man. These are our people. This is what we do. Yeah. There's probably, 24 of us that are out there, in a national tournament. Sure. But it's like we get to be where we're at. You know what I mean?
Right.
I loved doing that. I loved kicking it with Anthony Murata or Nick Schneider, or Nate Thorne, Donald Brady, whoever it may be. Just a local tournament. Like, this was cool.
Great. Yeah.
But he's like, no, I'm pulling them. I'm like, dude, why? And he goes, he knows he can beat all these guys and he's not doing what he needs to do. And it's going to eventually affect him, in 2 weeks when we're at whatever tournament they were going to, which I think it was like Compete Nationals. He's like, he's going in to this first big tournament of the year, and this was his warm-up tournament, and this is what he came out with.
Right.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wayne.
I mean, I get it. In some ways, that makes sense, I mean, I've seen people that win on national terms but can't win locally because of either the style is not what they want or the style that NASCA wants, they don't like in that area. I've seen it plenty of times. So it is a thing, or even in your area, your area may like Korean forms more than like Japanese.
No.
And you could win. I'm just saying, I'm not saying your area, but some there is that,
and then because in Wisconsin and Minnesota, yes, that is the case. Not in Chicago.
Right. So I mean, you just never know. There's that. I mean, we remember when we had John Chung on, and he said my hardest competitor was Cynthia Rothrock because she would beat me at local tournaments, but I would win all the national tournaments. But at local tournaments, she would beat me. Like, and so a lot of times your local competitors can be your toughest ones.
I would love to have him back on the show. Wasn't that an awesome one?
We need to do that again. That'll be cool.
Heck yeah. Plus, since I was wearing a Christmas sweater last time, let's do it again. Let's do it this summer, maybe. Who knows?
There we go. All right. So just a good insight on going to local tournaments, getting prepared for it. Sometimes you see some things that are crazy. I don't know if you got any story. I mean, obviously we know the story from last year. What's up, Tony? But yeah. Let's see. What's the other one? All right. We talked about that. All right. Team, we're doing good. One more reminder, guys, go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Main Network, MAI Network. So we have lots of great interviews. Actually, Fist Kicks and Flicks just did one. I popped in there for a little bit to talk to say hey to Jackson Spidell because I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Good.
So it was a lot of fun doing that interview. And we have extra stuff that we do, just kind of share even more things. So
just riffing.
Join us, man. Join us. All right. You ready to go to competitor of the week?
Let's do it, man.
Right. Your competitor of the week
Is
is
April D'Alessandro now Andrews.
all right.
So April D'Alessandro was a competitor many times at the Ocean State Grand Nationals. She's from Don Rodriguez Karate, right? So she was a great fighter.
Nice,
from
Will.
back in the 90s and early 2000s and in the mid 2000s. So she was a good fighter. She did have this thing where I was like, I don't get it. I never really understood why people did it, but she did it. When they wear the belt backwards,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, do you really notice your belt that much when you fight that you got to wear it backwards? Like, I don't get it.
It was a style thing.
It was a style thing, and I get it. Like the bow competitors, like tucking the belt into like that, I get. Right?
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
I was never good enough to have to worry about it, right? But I'm like, oh, that makes sense. You know, when you whip it and it's gonna hit your belt, and now the bow's gone. Okay, for fighting, I never really understood that. Although she probably did have, you know, a 3.5-inch waist, so maybe it did bother her. I don't know. You know,
slid around all the time. I don't know.
But you know, good. Dude, that was funny. Okay. So, you know what though? But back to April. April, you know, I don't know who coined her this, but she coined herself maybe the bag girl, you know, of karate. I don't know if there was like a history behind that. I don't need to know. All I know, she's a pretty dang good fighter. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I liked about her style, so she was a lead leg kicker, right? But it wasn't just pick up, pump, and take off, and then just go until you run through or into something.
Yeah.
And I liked her body position, which was pretty much boom, straight up and down the whole time. Really high chambers. Actually, and it's not to that level, but now that I'm processing it, her body style while kicking was kind of similar to Zolt Murati, right?
Yeah, that's true.
High chamber, everything was bent. It didn't fully extend and reach to where your entire body can reach to, right? There was always like it comes back each time without the body moving.
Right.
Now, Zolt eventually did have much better hands than, you know, April did. April did what a lot of females did at that time, which was, yes, you get in there with your leg and then you just start swinging, all right? But she won a lot of championships. She won a lot of tournaments. So I was a fan of her fighting style, that mid 2000s, early 2000s. April D'Alessandro. I'm sure she's had, like I said, many times at the Ocean State Grand Nationals. So an appropriate competitor of the week leading into the event.
Definitely. Awesome. Good stuff. Oh, excuse me. All right. So another topic I kind of want to get into, I don't know, maybe I felt this, maybe I'm just getting, I don't know.
Oh boy, buckle up.
So when you go to a tournament, all right, and let's just say,
you probably know it's about to get good, guys.
So when you go to a tournament, let's just say, let's see, for you, right, in your area, so Chicago.
With you.
You see Larry Tankston there.
Sure.
You just walk around Larry Tankston, or do you go up and talk to Larry Tankston?
I'll go straight to him.
You go straight to him and say, hey, how are you doing?
He's one of my favorite people to talk to right away.
Not just because he's favorite, but he's Larry Tankston.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite to go in and see. When I see him, I'm like, man, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm going to go right to him. Okay, but where you going?
What about, let's see, who else? Who's Ross Cook, if he's there, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, or some of the other like guys like Marvin Clark. Yeah, like, yeah.
Right. Let's just say who's the top fighter from that area right now? Or maybe top forms person?
Would be Salif.
All right. So if you see Salif, you're going to go and talk to him, right? Yeah. Are you going to talk to him if you compete against him? Or are you going to talk to him just because he's Salif, you need to? Here's what I'm getting at. There's a thing that's like showing respect to current and past champions.
I see what you're doing.
Like it's interesting to me when you're at a tournament for a while and people are like walking around you like afraid to talk to you, and you're like, okay, I'm just telling you, this is kind of how, obviously, this is kind of how I felt this weekend. And then all of a sudden, everyone wanted to me. But it was like, okay, what's going on? So to me, it's not like I'm walking around like, hey, you got to respect me. But dang, come up and talk to me or something, because I'm going to come up to you and talk to you. But if I go up to you and you kind of turn away, all right, then forget it. There's no reason to do that, you know.
Is
So
this because I know, is this people who you're competing against, or just in
that's what I'm
general?
trying to get at. And so my instructor said that. I said, dude, what's going on with that? Did you notice that? And he was like, yeah, I think maybe this person isn't doing it because they know you're gonna compete against them this weekend and they don't want to talk.
I have had that.
And
I have
so,
had
and
that
so I've
before.
had that too. And I guess that makes, I'm not asking to be buddy, but at least just, hey, what's up? Boom, let's go. You know, have a good weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
That part was just kind of interesting to me. So it's like when I was, you know, a junior or even when I was 18, I mean, I went up to all the top competitors, said, hello, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. Have a great weekend. I'm ready to compete. Hope you are too. Not like I'm going to whoop your ass, but you know what I mean? Like there's that. I went up to the legends of the sport and talked to them. And yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm going to talk to everybody no matter what. So don't do that, the opposite thing to me. I don't know. It's just weird to me. But he says there was almost 2 years of no competition, and not where we're at. We've had competition for a while. And I'm not necessarily and I'm not just talking about me, but I mean for other people. I think it's just even if it's, you just go up, you talk to everybody when you go to a tournament. You said, hey, you give them. I don't know. I just
So
think
is it
that
like
there's
this?
something missing with some of our, I don't even want to say junior competitors. I want to say like adult competitors, like brand new adults that are kind of want to walk around people instead of just talking to people. But
I think sometimes you gotta balance this. I think
yeah,
the person that balanced it the best with, dude, I ain't talking to them because they're my competition, and I'm gonna talk to everybody. The person who did it the absolute best was Ross Levine, right?
Mhm.
Because Ross would talk to everybody, but would also, like, if you're in his way, he'll tell you, like, not like intense and not like really change his demeanor or anything. Like he would like, I'm just heads up, win your division today. You look, and they would look like, what? And like, no, you have a winning record against me. I'm taking you out today. I need to beat
Yeah.
you. But
See, I like that.
how
Yeah,
you been? How's your training been? And then like we're just like, he wasn't like the being
yeah,
a jerk. He wasn't doing the like, no, I ain't gonna talk to them. I really, because I've witnessed it on both ends, you know, and then you get like the fake politeness where you could tell
yeah,
like this is just fake, like, oh, try to
yeah,
take it easy on me today.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
That
I
stuff I
can't,
can't
I
stand.
hate that more than
Yeah,
anything. Oh, it's the worst. Just
and
don't
see,
say anything. I'd
I get
actually
it.
rather you walked around me than do that.
I get it from another end too, because I was a big promoter for a while too, and so there's some of that too that I get. But I just find it just funny. Like for me, is like, and honestly, like I have to teach my students to do better at it too. It's like you go up, you talk to these people, you ask them things, you say hello, how you doing? You know, if you see, I mean, if Brian Plimple comes in the tournament, I want my students to go and introduce themselves and ask about them. You know, me as instructor, I need to do that, right? So, and I'm not even saying like I do it and others don't. I'm just saying I think that's something that we need to do. You know, do more of. Is
Right.
that, you know? I mean, again, I always bring it back to wrestling, but in the
Well,
wrestling
let's
in the
go ahead.
wrestling realm, even if you're a new person in there, a veteran comes in that locker room, you go up, you shake their hand. You know, that's just part of that respect. There's a veteran comes in there, you go in, you show them respect. And I think there's some of that, you know. But
So you brought up the wrestling thing, and I remember because Adam, my brother, he was a wrestler in high school, and I remember his section tournament, right?
mm,
And in Minnesota, they only took 2 people to state per weight class in your section. That's it. It was not a lot, so you
right.
had to be freaking amazing, right? So
Right.
Adam took third in his weight and section, and it was like, that's it. This is my last wrestling match of my life, which is really odd to say. Like,
Yeah.
you're going into your last wrestling match of
It's
your
crazy,
life.
right?
That's
Yeah.
really odd. But anyway, there was this little guy who was just like in the corner, and everybody was just going over to him like, oh man, this. I'm like, man, Adam, why is everybody going over this little guy? And he goes, that's the biggest badass in the building. And I'm like, that guy?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh yeah, he's a 4-time state wrestling champion. I'm like, get the frick out of here.
Wow.
It was Marcus LeVessler.
Okay.
Marcus LeVessler, listen, went on to wrestle at Augsburg College in Minnesota. It was a D3 school, but
Yeah.
he also wanted to play football, and no other D1 school was going to let him play football, right?
Yeah.
And when he played football, he played quarterback, running back, and receiver.
Oh,
Like, I don't know how you did that, but
how
okay.
you do that? Just
You know
throwing
what his
it to
collegiate wrestling record was? 155-0.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
crazy, right? Just crazy. So it's stuff like this. So that everybody's going up to him like, oh man, it's cool, right? And you think about it, like they should kind of do that.
Right.
Because in something like this, like let's just take Adam's, scenario, like they'll never cross paths in wrestling ever
Right.
again.
Exactly.
This is it,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? If Deion Sanders just showed up at a college football game, kids should flood
Should
to
be.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
So,
I'm not, I guess for me, it's more, and in some way I'm speaking of me, but I also saw it a lot of other people, like not knowing who certain people are and stuff, which I think is something that we got to fix in our sport, which is why we try to highlight people,
yep.
One of the things that I guess for me, it's like at a national tournament, you'll talk to me, but at a local tournament, you won't. That's when it gets a little weird, right? It's like,
So I want to
okay,
highlight one of
just
these comments here.
last month, But so what are some? All right, so this is one
That's
I like.
the one
One
I
from
was
Liz.
thinking.
What are some questions that you would ask as a junior? So again, if a junior competitor, for me, like I would just sit around. I mean, I've been doing this for years. When I go to local tournaments, I talk to Magic Johnson, again, not the basketball player, the karate guy. All right.
Magic hands.
All the time. And I ask him, what does he think of what's happening now, in the sport? As a junior, I'm sure I asked him maybe his favorite tournament, what he thought of, when I was young, Raymond and Jason Tanks, like just getting his ideas on it, same thing, when I see Jay Bell at a tournament, I sit there and this wasn't just me as an adult now, like as a junior, I would ask those questions too, Brian Plimple, I'd hang out with Brian Plimple since I was like 15 and just see, what he thought of this, not necessarily asking like, hello, sir, I have a question for you, but just talking to them, show them respect. And you know what, when that happens, they will come and offer you advice just because you were respectful to them. You know what I mean?
And if they're really good vets,
yeah,
they will be honest about like, no, they're better,
Exactly.
Like one of the people I think would just be like some of the best to talk to would be like Anthony Price,
Yes.
Anthony Price.
Anthony Price, always great one to talk to forever.
Mike Pombero, would be great. I mean, really a lot of the guys that we've had on as guests, too,
Yes.
Jerry, Richard Plowden. I love talking to Richard Plowden,
Yes.
I love watching him talking to other people, and we're like, I just picked up on something. I wasn't even a part of that conversation. I dropped and stole that.
You know who actually though is a really good person to talk to? Just go up to his booth, Joe Greenhall, and he will give you advice.
Absolutely.
He will help you. I mean, he may come off to some people very brash and everything, but he really cares about helping you grow in the sport. So
he'll be honest. He'll be brutally honest.
He'll help you out. So
I remember what was it?
I'm just saying, take advantage of it. Okay. Before
take advantage of it, especially if Joe's got something to say.
Yeah.
So there was a time, I'm going to toot Joe's horn here for a moment because he totally changed the way I approach my forums. So I took the runner-up in the men's open forums divisions to Anthony Atkins. And I remember feeling like, man, I thought I had it for a second. And then I'm like, Alex, what are you thinking? Of course you didn't beat Anthony Atkins. You're not going to beat him, right? But anyway, so Joe gave me a score that was the same as Anthony. And I'm like, oh, shit, you know? And he's like, you got to come up with some more combos. And I'm like, Joe, my hand combos are better than Anthony's. Come on now. And he's like, no. You need to come up with better tricking combos. You can't go trick for trick with Anthony. You'll never beat him ever in life.
Right.
And this is the way I'm saying it. Imagine Joe saying that. Like, you're ever going to beat him in life.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how that's coming across.
That's
right?
coming off a little different, right? Yeah.
A lot different. But I had to sit back and go, he's freaking right. What would I think? What would make me think that I am going to go trick for trick with Anthony and beat Anthony? That's never going to happen.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Yep, definitely. Well, man,
Been a great one, right?
this has been a good show, and we might have stirred some things up, but I love it. And yeah, guys, a lot of people saying a lot of high things about Magic Johnson. Great guy. He's an awesome person. He most likely will be at the Battle of Atlanta. Usually he's always there. So go and talk to him and just ask him about, the late 70s, early 80s, and just what he loves about the sport, why he's still involved in it. He's someone who's always gives back to it, and he's not one who just left, so
really, guys, but even and I'm not trying to toot our horn at all, but go back and listen to some of these shows. Go back and listen to, like, when June Rhee was on. Or not, what am I talking about? John Chung. You knew where I was going. Yeah. John Chung. Or John Worley, right? Yep. Go back, listen to that. Right?
And
how many
go and tell
of the
them
stories with Mike Conroy?
Right. And go say, hey, I loved the interview you did. Was that true about, and just ask them. It's all right. And again, we will talk to you, all of us will. So I'm just saying, just everybody challenge yourself to go talk to somebody. I think that's one of the biggest things at a tournament, learn from each other. So
you want to hear one of the greatest stories you've ever heard? Just go talk to Mike Conroy. Just pick a story.
It's true.
Just pick one.
It's true. Awesome. All right, guys.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See everyone this week at Ocean State Grand Nationals.